Hello ladies and gentlemen, so this is just a little fun build that I came across when I was testing a few things out with Enzo. So it's a bit of a weird one. He's not exactly viable in any sort of situation at the moment because of the current meta with Serena, Inez, all those kind of characters that are actually really good. But Enzo has something a little bit special. So I found out that you can get unlimited drone usage and unlimited heavy ammo just by using one of his Transcendent mods. So let's go through the build. The external components of the reactor don't necessarily matter, but I'm just going to show them anyway. For starters, on the reactor, this is the one that I use for Luna for the skill critical build and everything. It works extremely well for that, but it also kind of works well for this, mainly because of the launcher and the shotgun. Now, the shotgun in particular is exactly what's needed for this build. It's very good against Colossus and certain situations when there is a ton of enemies, and even some of the mini bosses that you come across in some of the 400%, and even Void Erosion Purge. It could be relatively useful if you're using a lot of heavy ammo. For the components, I've gone for two different sets. I've gone for the Firebrand set and the Enlightened Mage set. It doesn't matter exactly which two you use, but these are the ones that I use to get the most HP out of them all. I use both the sets mainly because it gives the skill effect range and skill duration for Firebrand, and just a little bit extra of skill power when it comes to Enzo using his skills. Onto the modules. Now, the specific module in particular is Focus Fire. I rarely see anyone using Enzo, and even rarer, using this particular module itself. I will quickly flash up exactly where you can get this from. It's a little bit interesting to find. All of Enzo's Transcendent mods are, but that's just the way the devs seem to have put him in the game. But I've noticed with this one, on firearm critical attack, it increases the drone's duration. Now this, I've realized, doesn't have a duration limit. If you go past the sort of boundary and duration limit when you first call in the drone, you can go way past that into minutes and even hours of unlimited drone, unlimited ammo. I don't know why it works. It just does. So these are the other mods that I have for Enzo. I've got Shock Punch, HP Amplification, Skill Simplification, just for that little bit of skill power modifier. It doesn't really do much. The only thing that you really need is Shot Focus, because you're going to be using your firearms a lot more than your skill. You're just using your firearm to keep your drone up a lot more. Skill expansion for range, mainly because of the missiles, which is, again, kind of fun, because you get 4 charges of them instead of the traditional 2, and with the drone active, you fire 3 rockets instead of 1. So it's just a little bit of fun, really. Skill cooldown to get your rockets back a little bit quicker, same as Nimble Fingers. Focus on non-attribute for even more skill cooldown, just to get your rockets back that little bit quicker. I decided to go for a little bit of critical, but to be honest, this build is entirely up to you. But shot focus and cooldown, I'd probably say, are a little bit of necessity, along with firearms that have extremely high critical rate. Now, what I've got with my firearms, I've got my Thunder Cage because it has a high critical hit rate. The Executor, because if you hit so many pellets constantly, you have 100% crit rate no matter what. And every single pellet adds towards the duration increase. So if I go back to the mod itself, if I hover over it, for Focus Fire, right down the bottom there, duration increase on firearm critical hit attack is 0.4 seconds. However, with the Executor, you fire 19 pellets. Every single one of them can do a critical hit, and every single one of them increases the duration by 0.4 seconds. With how quickly the Executor shoots and how many critical hits you can get off in such a short amount of time, you can almost have unlimited drone usage no matter what. It's actually really good. So, again, it's entirely up to you, but I'd recommend having the Executor for Colossi and difficult bosses, and even the Restored Relic, because that has quite high critical rate chance. So these are the modules that I've got on them. For the Executor, I've gone for the pretty basic stuff. Critical damage, you don't need any critical rate increases, and real life fighter, as long as you're constantly hitting those weak points. I'm very happy with this Executor, and I only just recently got the Core Breaker to make it that little bit stronger. For the Restored Relic, I've gone for fire attack mostly, fire rate to get your rockets off a lot quicker, critical hit rate and critical hit damage. Now, I know I can get my critical hit rate a little bit better, so you'll be hitting them a lot more, and your drone will be producing a lot more duration. So, let's get right into the testing. So, now that I've got all the enemies out, I'm going to pull out my drone, and as you can see right there, focus fire is slowly dripping down, and as I start to get critical hits, it slowly goes back up, it goes back up. So you can keep this going for quite a long time, and you'll be constantly regenning ammo as long as this turret is active, but it works very well with the rockets, because almost everything does a critical hit. Yep, and as you can see, it's going all the way up to full. Almost. Yep, it's at full now, and it's going to start. And it doesn't drip down instantly, which means there isn't a limit. Oh, and there we go. So here's the fun part. The shotgun. So, yep, no critical hits. No critical hits. And then, yep, it just goes. And because of how quickly I can shoot, every single time... Now, that symbol will not start dropping for, I'd probably say, about 2 minutes. So already I have 2 minutes of this drone constantly peppering enemies without any fail. I can run around, do whatever I need to. I don't have to worry. And as you've noticed, I've got 4 charges of my second ability, and I can fire off 3 rockets. Now, these actually do a fair bit of damage. The only problem is MP. But you're not really worried about MP. You're worried about your critical hits, constantly keeping your focus fire up. That's just there just in case you want to use it. This build is just weird and fun. I've now got this drone for quite a long time. I'm going to constantly be receiving my heavy ammo. I don't need to use any skills. This is mainly just used around your 4th ability. I'm not going to wait the whole time just to show you how long this turret will go on for. It doesn't do that much damage, but however, if you're constantly using your heavy ammo like this build is made for, yeah, you will never ever run out of ammo ever. Oh, and there we go. It started to slow down. So I'm going to show you guys how it works on a 400%. And well, no, I'm not going to do a 400%. I'm actually going to show you what it's like against quite a tough Colossus. Load Colossus. Replenish supplies just because I can. There's Gluttony directly in front. That's what I mean. My shotgun's pretty broken anyway. But now I can literally stand here for quite some time and my turret will not run out for the longest time. I won't ever run out of shotgun ammo while I'm fighting a Colossus. And because I'm constantly hitting the weak points, it's just a little bit of fun. Honestly, I don't even know where this build came from. I was just messing around and I came across it and I was like, oh, that seems pretty interesting. I like to use my shotgun and my rocket launcher, but I always seem to find myself running out of ammo very quickly. However, with this build, you always have a drone constantly shooting enemies. You have a constant resupply of ammo. You never need to use your first ability. You never really need to use your rocket's ability either. Hopefully you all found this interesting, because I know I did when I was doing some testing on it. Hopefully you guys can find a better build, and if you do, please leave it down below in the comments section. I would love to hear some of your Enzo builds, for those of you that still actually use him. Please like, please give it a subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Hey guys, AGWag is here. YouTube has decided that these are the 2 videos that you would most likely enjoy from my channel, so be sure to give a like, comment, and subscribe.